To start replacing this wiper transmission, you're going to have to start by removing the wiper arms. There's a small cap here. You're going to have to remove that. Just pop that up with something. And underneath, you'll see a 12mm nut. Remove the nut. And to remove this wiper arm, what you can do is press down on it, give it a couple bonks. That should break free the arm from the mechanism here, and then pull it right up. Do the same to the other arm. Along the top of this cowl, you'll notice several T25 Torx screws. Go ahead and remove all of those. You can also use a flathead bit if you don't have a T25 Torx. Next, open the hood so you can access the cowl push clips from underneath the hood. Each corner is going to have one push clip, and then as you can see, there are multiple, and then as you can see in the middle, there are two more. They look like that. Follow the push clips along the cowl and remove them all. Now you can pick up the cowl and remove it. Next, I'm going to remove the wiper motor, unplug it first, and that's going to allow me to release the wiper transmission off the motor. Use a 10mm socket for these bolts. Pull the wiper motor off. Next, you want to remove this nut right here with a 12mm. That's what holds the transmission onto the motor. I'm going to attempt to get an impact in there. That'll be the easiest way to remove this nut, because otherwise the motor is going to want to spin on you. There we go. And release the transmission from the motor. I'm going to use a brass hammer and see if I can tap this wiper transmission off of the motor. There we go. I also sprayed it down with rust penetrant, by the way. And with the hood closed, you can see the 6 10mm bolts that hold both of the wiper arm points in place. So go ahead and remove all 6 of these. At this point, you can reach in here, grab the wiper transmission, and slide it out. Assuming you have your new wiper transmission, go ahead and put that in. Line up the bolt holes and start in your bolts. Do the same to this one right here. Go ahead and snug these up. Through the hole in the firewall, retrieve the arm that's supposed to connect to the motor. Go ahead and install the wiper motor onto the wiper transmission. It had a lock washer and then the 12mm nut. Make sure the splines are lined up. And the only thing that was able to take this off was an impact. Oh, that's what's also going to put it back on. Okay, make sure that's nice and tight. Reinstall the wiper motor and start in all 4 of these bolts. Snug them up. Okay, that's nice and tight. Plug it back in, make sure it clicks. Next, put the cowl back on. Reattach it with all the small push clips that go up front here. Reattach all the small little Torx bit screws. Now the next thing is to get in the car, turn on the key to the on position, and let the wipers run for 1 rotation. I know the wipers are not attached, but that's the point. You want the motor to go back to park before you reattach the wipers so that you know that when you put them in their park position, the motor and transmission are actually in the park position. Otherwise, if you put them where they're supposed to sit and then you turn the wipers on and they're actually not, they're going to go up, down, and stop somewhere random in the middle. So you want to make sure that everything is in the park position, which I know for me it is. So just like when you removed the wipers, go ahead and place them on. Before you screw them on, lower the wiper arm and ensure that the splines match up to where you want the wiper to sit. This one's actually a little bit too low for me, so I'm going to take it up one notch on the splines. So right here is where I want it to sit, and that's perfect. Start your nut in, hold the wiper into its splines so that it doesn't crush them. Snug it down, put the wiper back on. That's sitting perfectly right there, so do the same to the other one. Okay, see, that's way too low, obviously. So I'm going to go up 2 notches. That's a little too high. Right there is perfect. And for me, only one of these had a cap, so put the cap back on, lower the wiper, and test them out. When you test them, make sure they go up to where they're supposed to go, but then also go down and stop in this exact same position. If they don't, just adjust accordingly. Either move the wiper up or down depending on what you need to do.